Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. Hey guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not a professional. Trading is risky. Do your own research. I'll start this off by going through Bitcoin, some of the majors, Bitcoin dominance, and then I'll run through a whole bunch of altcoins. Okay, so we'll go through Bitcoin first. This is my Fibonacci retracement, or I'm sorry, extension, and Bitcoin now breached the $30,000 mark here, and this is an excellent all-time high level. This is a significant fib level, the 618, and we still have good volume on high time frame charts, and this looks great. I mean, you know, it's still extremely bullish. I don't know where this is going to stall out at. Given the reactions on Twitter, it's obvious that everyone is overly exposed to altcoins, myself included. Buying some altcoins 2 weeks ago was probably not the best idea, but it is what it is. I'm accumulating. It's okay. I still think that Bitcoin could go to 36K, could go to 45K. I have no idea where this will go before it stalls out. Personally, I think that there will be a 30% correction or so. And even if it goes down to 20K, I mean, as anyone who's been in trading crypto for years or even a few months has seen, you know, 36% is really nothing. You know, we're all used to that. Traditional finance people will shit themselves, but I mean, a 30% pullback, it's completely feasible. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to happen anytime soon. I don't know when or where, but just watch out for it. Until that time, I mean, Bitcoin is still highly bullish. This still has healthy volume coming in. I did make a video on what to look for tops, so check that out. But as of right now, it still looks pretty good. I mean, this is just really just a straight, strong run. You're just basically seeing, you're seeing consolidation, drive, consolidation. I'm gonna do this. So you're just seeing this kind of same price action where we're seeing consolidation, drive, and eventually this will stop. You know, there will be a pullback, but again, I don't know where this is going to pull back at. It still looks extremely strong. The trend is still really bullish. There's nothing really to say about this. If you want to be a hero, you can short, but I think most people will probably profit a lot more after the parabolic run has stopped. You know, after you see some sort of big wick and then price closing really ugly. So what we can do here, if you want to look at some other short-term market tops or market tops, I mean, look at 2019 here, where you see lots of really ugly candle closes, and then you see high sell volume. This is kind of what you're looking for right here if you're thinking about a market top. And I'm not saying Bitcoin, if it does top out here at, you know, 40K or 38K or whatever number it is, I'm not saying that is going to be, like, that's over. Like, I'm not saying that that's over and Bitcoin is done and Bitcoin will go to like 10K. You know, obviously it could, it's Bitcoin, but I think it's more likely that given we are going to be in a multi-year bull trend, personally, given the market structure of the chart and given the way this move up has happened. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of big pullback to 30K, I'm sorry, to 20K. And I mean, like, look, this is 2017. Like, there were still plenty of pullbacks even on the parabolic run that it had, and this market structure was was different too from what we are currently seeing in 2020. I mean, this was more parabolic. Price didn't really have much time to cool off ever. It just kept going higher and higher. Whereas if you compare it to this run here in 2020, there were still quite a few periods in 2020 where price had many accumulation periods where it basically just sat and ranged. And in my opinion, this is a lot healthier for a move when you're going higher, because it's not as parabolic, and price was able to accumulate and range for just quite a lot more time on this run than in 2017. So if I still am viewing a 30% pullback, I don't know when or where. This is still bullish until shown otherwise. I mean, when you see price basically consolidate like this, well, this is something like this. This is generally going to be pretty bullish in this context, but you are going to see some like high sell volume at the top. I don't know where again or when. Like this was, you know, high sell volume at 20K, but it was just too obvious. I think that price is going to go a little higher than 20K at that time, given the way price is consolidating. There's just like more liquidity higher, in my opinion. I didn't know when or where this is going to stall, and I still don't. But as of right now, it's still bullish. Places I would view for buying a pullback. Well, if it comes, obviously 20K is just like a really good, clean buy. If it goes even lower to like 16K, I mean, that would be a 50% drop, which would be really ugly. But again, like we're pretty used to that in crypto land. And like, say like this does stall out here. Say it stalls out near 36K, like this fib area would make sense to come back to the 50% retrace at 20K. But if you want to start looking at some other levels here for a pullback, 24K is going to have some support. 20K obviously has some support. There's some micro levels too on lower time frame charts like 26K, but I don't know how strong those are going to be in general. 24K would be like the first strong line of defense, in my opinion. And then if that fails, I see 20K. But the bottom line is that Bitcoin is still highly bullish, and I'm not sure where this is going to go. So let's keep going on. I expect ETH to basically follow Bitcoin for the most part. This has been lagging, relatively speaking, because in the sense that it hasn't moved quite as strongly as Bitcoin, and it normally does not. ETH almost always follows Bitcoin. There are some times in the year when Ethereum will outpace Bitcoin, and we're actually getting closer to that time, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this hit $1,000 within the next few weeks. Personally, this chart right here just shows that Ethereum has hit 100% gain over the last few Decembers, or starting in December in the preceding months after. And I don't see any reason why this shouldn't happen. I mean, $1,000 is here. I use this December 7th swing low around $500 to show the bottom on December, and I don't think it's out of the question at all to think that this will go to $1,000. I think this is still a good buy. I think that Ethereum still looks strong. This has, as I said, been slower than Bitcoin for the most part, and you're seeing similar price action as well. You're seeing, you know, a drive, consolidation drive, and a simple strategy that you can do if you are trading majors or altcoins specifically, or I'm sorry, if you're trading altcoins and majors specifically, is if you see Bitcoin being very strong and, you know, LTC or ETH are just kind of not doing anything, you can just pretty much buy, assuming that the BTC move is legit, and just assume that these coins will probably follow to some degree. So if this, I'm guessing this continues higher. I'm expecting $1,000 within a few weeks or potentially a few months, depending on the way that price moves with Bitcoin. But there are some significant interesting levels like coming up. Like $800 is an interesting level. There's going to be some other levels like $900 as well. But for the most part, I still am bullish on ETH. I think it's potentially a better buy than Bitcoin around this time of the year, but that'll be more reflected in the ETH BTC chart, which I'm going to go through next. And this is my ETH BTC chart. I was thinking that potentially the lows around, not lows, well, the lows could get tested around 0.1016. Let's hope that doesn't happen. That would be pretty ugly for many Ethereum holders. But I use this overall range here to show that I think that ETH could still be in this long range. It's 2018. I think the next area of interest, in my opinion, is the 0.021 area. And that area is already kind of coming up pretty quick. There should be some buy side liquidity right here, and there should be some demand, but it's already been tapped once here on this big spike down, and the market structure in the short term is certainly bearish. I mean, this is not bullish yet. It's still making lower highs and lower lows on lower time frames, high sell volume. What does it mean when your alt BTC pair is going down? It means that you would have made more money holding Bitcoin versus this altcoin. And usually that's always going to be the case for the most part. There are some times of the year when alts outperform Bitcoin, but for the most part, Bitcoin will almost always outperform altcoins. Altcoins, in my opinion, should be used as a tool to acquire more Bitcoin. And I think that altcoins are going to continue to struggle until Bitcoin is done with its run. And that said, I do think that altcoins, once Bitcoin is done with its run at 35K, 40K, 50K, I don't know where or when, but I expect Bitcoin to have a 30% retracement or potentially up to 50%. And it's going to depend, of course, on how it happens and where it happens, in my opinion. But at that time, that's when I think that it'll be some really ugly days in the market followed by some strong buybacks for altcoins. And that's just my opinion. It could be quite some more pain for altcoins until Bitcoin is done doing its thing. And I've always thought that I'm waiting. I've accumulated many altcoins right now, but I'm going to buy one last time when I see that big shakeout happen. ETH BTC is generally a good market macro indicator for altcoins, though. And when ETH BTC does very poorly, this is, altcoins in general just don't do well with alt BTC pairs. And this right here is just kind of neutral in general. I mean, it's bearish in the short term, but there might be some bounces here in the 0.020 area. And yeah, I think this is going to be pretty good in the following months, but until Bitcoin is done doing its thing, we aren't going to see a big move for ETH BTC. It's very possible that this will have a V-shaped reversal similar to like 2017 run, where we just see this continue to melt down further and further and further, and then we see a strong buyback. But let's see, I guess. I mean, ETH BTC has had a few of these types of V-shaped reversals, but for the most part, they've been kind of more rounded reversals and more conservative. They haven't been insane like back in 2017, 2018. Let's just go quickly with Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is still really high right now. What does Bitcoin dominance mean? I made a video on Bitcoin dominance. It basically means that the higher Bitcoin dominance is, the lower market share that altcoins have. And everybody's crying for alt season and want alt season, but alt season will never happen until Bitcoin dominance starts to pull back. Bitcoin dominance and altcoins have an inverse relationship, meaning that the higher that Bitcoin dominance goes, the worse or lower that altcoins go, generally speaking. And this is mainly speaking with alt BTC pairs, not alt USD. As Bitcoin goes higher, alt USD will gain, but usually not as much as alt as Bitcoin. So where am I looking at for Bitcoin dominance? I mean, this is right here, obvious resistance level coming up. I don't know if charting these things is necessarily a great thing. I mean, there are interesting levels that are respected, interestingly enough. The 62% area was interesting, and it held. Again, 58% also held. For me personally, Bitcoin dominance is going to keep increasing, and altcoins are going to continue to suffer with the alt BTC pairs until Bitcoin is done, doing its run. And I don't know where that run will end. It could end at 73%. It could end at 77%. I don't know where this will start pulling back at. So an obvious area of resistance is coming up right now. The previous 2019 August high, which was that summer was awful for altcoin traders, for alt BTC traders, that is, like me, when I was trading alt BTC. But if Bitcoin goes to like 37K or something like that, then I expect the 77% area to be tested personally. So as I said before, it's probably safer to just not buy and hold altcoins until you see something like strong pullbacks for alt BTC. Or I'm sorry, altcoin. Bitcoin dominance. When you start to see stuff like this pulling back, this is like a great run, obviously, from late 2019 all the way to the fall of 2020. This was just like a good time to trade altcoins. And obviously there were time periods when altcoins were tough to trade here and there. Again, when Bitcoin dominance goes up, alt BTC values go down for the most part. But I still expect there to be some good times for altcoins coming up. I think that usually this time of the year, and I go through this stuff on my Bitcoin dominance video, but generally speaking, you'll see Bitcoin dominance start to go down on December. So these last 2 years, Bitcoin dominance basically went down starting in December. Like last year, it was December 30th or so when it started to come down. December 15th or so, 2018 is when it started to go down. And then obviously you had alt season, which was early December. This was when it started to go down. So I personally think that Bitcoin dominance will probably start going down relatively soon. It wouldn't surprise me to see. But again, these past years contextually were different than current years because currently Bitcoin is going on a massive run. And because of that massive run, we're seeing that Bitcoin dominance is basically skyrocketing. In these previous years, Bitcoin wasn't really going on massive runs. Obviously, 2017 it was, but that makes me believe that possibly like 80% is potentially coming, which would be really painful for all BTC values. But I expect there to be pretty quick pullback on this. So my advice to you is if you're being conservative and safer, which is totally good, I would just wait until Bitcoin dominance starts to pull back and then start scaling into alts. If you want to start accumulating now and you're trading a big stack, it's not a bad idea to throw some money in now, but just know that if you throw in money now, you are going to be underwater for potentially weeks or even months, depending on how this Bitcoin dominance chart goes and how Bitcoin moves. And I'm sorry, underwater in terms of alt BTC values, not alt USD. But yeah, my personal plan is just to basically I'm going to keep accumulating some altcoins. I already accumulated some of them, and I'll just buy a lot more when I think Bitcoin dominance is starting to head down and when Bitcoin has a big blow off top. Okay, so let's go into some majors now. I already went through ETH. This is XRP. XRP had a lot of FUD going on. I think that the relative bottom is in for the short term, but I still am very skeptical on if this will continue higher. I think there are a lot of inefficiencies to fill higher. Like this move was pretty inefficient. This is like a big move. And what do I mean by inefficient? I mean a total imbalance between buyers and sellers, or price just cascades down. And usually see these inefficiencies filled out for the most part. Like here was a good example here. Like this was a big pullback and you saw price grind its way back up. So you'll see that in both directions too. Like if you see like a big move up, you'll see price so if you see a big move up, you'll see price fill it out on the way down. Or if you see like a big move down, you'll see this grinding price action like this. And a good example of that is looking at Bitcoin after the COVID dump. This was like pretty textbook inefficiency fill, where big price dump, price grinds up. And this is pretty standard. You can see this across all time frames too. And you can see it on very low time frames. You can see it on high time frames like Bitcoin. You know, it just depends. But anyways, with XRP, I think the short-term bottom is in for the most part. I would be surprised if this continues to grind up a little bit higher. But there's just a lot of instability in this particular market. So I personally am just going to stay away from XRP. It's usually a good coin to trade because of the volatility and liquidity, but I personally wouldn't advise trading it right now. It's just too choppy. Link USD, I personally think that Link is going to do well in 2021, but I'm starting to have a few of my doubts, frankly. This chart doesn't look great, and it's continually just ranging in between this $16 mark and this $10 mark or $9 mark. This chart doesn't really scream bullishness. It doesn't really scream accumulation to me. It just is it's just kind of there. I know that's kind of a shitty description, but I mean the only thing I could really compare it to maybe is like double rounded bottom or something like that. I have no idea. Like we'll see something like this. I don't know. I'm still holding out hope that Link will do well. I have a Link stack, but I don't know. I might consider cutting it. We'll see. Might just throw it into something else. But has been like one of the most bullish assets in crypto since its inception. Like, you know, this went a ridiculous amount since the start, but overall, it just doesn't really look super bullish to me. The chart itself doesn't look bullish. There's not really clear signs to me of accumulation, but we'll see. I mean, you can't bet against Chainlink just because of what it's done. I'm personally just a little more worried that the Oracle space is getting more and more competitive, and Chainlink will maybe start to lose some of its market share. But again, we'll see. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see this test $10 again. Again, the chart doesn't really look super bullish to me yet, and the EMAs are just tightening up. The 200 200-day EMA has been traditionally a pretty good buy, and it wouldn't surprise me just to see a lot of compression here over the next few days or weeks or whatever. If altcoins do start to pump in December, then I expect this will start moving. And that's kind of what I'm betting on more. But for now, I don't really know if Link is a great coin to really buy or trade. It's just choppy and doesn't really look super strong either way or trending. VID. This is a popular coin. I don't know what it does. This is VID Bitcoin. It doesn't really look like anything right now. I mean, it looks like it potentially could be in this accumulation range. Actually, this is a better way to do it here. It looks like it's this better accumulation range potentially, but this might be... Should I just go? Yeah, so I mean, this looks kind of neutral to me, in my opinion. Price is kind of trading at this equilibrium. It looks like a relatively new coin, which is nice. You know, new coins are better to trade generally. This is bearish for now, though. I don't see this being super bullish yet. The buy volume is nice, but yeah, I mean, this buy volume looks nice, but this doesn't really look great either way. For me, a trigger to consider buying this would basically be to break this 2400 sats region because of kind of what we talked about before with the inefficient move. Yeah, I think that this will need to be broken, this area here, before you consider buying. There's nice buy volume, but it's not a buy yet, in my opinion. THETA, this is incredibly bullish coin. I mean, I don't know why I just didn't just buy this and just focus on the trending coins. This market's still fairly choppy for many altcoins in general, but THETA had its own market cycle. It's been highly, highly, highly bullish. I thought it was actually kind of stalling out around the $6.66 area, but I was wrong there. This is a good example of bullish accumulation and what I expect for Bitcoin, really. You saw this massive run in May. I remember when it just had that insane run. And blow off top, this is the trade. This is like a very good example of a blow off top here. Huge sell volume, big wick, ugly daily close. And then it had this bullish accumulation here. And this is really what I expect for Bitcoin. And it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this happen for Bitcoin over a larger time period, because usually bigger assets need more time to accumulate. Less liquid assets like THETA, in my opinion, don't need as much time to accumulate given how small of a market cap relatively it is to Bitcoin. But I expect this to basically happen for Bitcoin. I expect big drive up to 35K, 40K, I have no idea. A big pullback, well, not big, 30%, 50%. Range. And this is kind of what I expect, basically. I mean, there's going to be some moves within this range, of course. And then I expect Bitcoin to basically go huge in 2021. So that is an example. And this is kind of an example of what I expect for Bitcoin. This is what THETA did, basically. Big move up, consolidation and accumulation, big move up, accumulation. And we're seeing that now. We're seeing this huge parabolic run where this just looks great. I mean, I don't know where this is going to stall out. You might want to use fib extensions or something like that, but for the most part, I mean, THETA is awesome, bullish. ZRX, this looks neutral. It's not really doing anything. This could be doing what THETA did. I mean, you see big drive, and now it's just ranging. I wouldn't buy this personally unless you are looking for a long-term play. This is just going to keep within this range, in my opinion. And there's going to be deviations from the range, of course, but overall, yeah, this is just ranging. It's not doing anything. I wouldn't buy it unless you're accumulating. I did do a video on accumulation too, so check that out. YFI, I was the idiot that bought some around 0.95 thinking it was a good buy, and I took a little profits but not nearly as much. I rebought again around the 9.5 area and I'm underwater, but that's okay because I'm accumulating this. I personally believe that this will do pretty well in the coming weeks and months, but this might end up doing a full retrace for the BTC pair. And this is what you're going to see too for a lot of BTC pairs, is you're seeing a lot of pain for these BTC pairs. But YFI is a good example of what I expect for BTC, alt BTC pairs. You're basically seeing this, a V-shaped reversal. V-shaped reversals are generally characterized by high buy volume and a reversal that looks like a V, like as indicated here. And this is again what I'm kind of expecting for many altcoins, is to hit certain levels of support wherever they may be. I think that this bleeding area is getting close to ending. But if we see Bitcoin go to like 50K, then all BTC values are going to go even lower than you can even imagine. Like this would maybe go to 0.3. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where or when Bitcoin's going to bounce, of course. But if it goes to like 50,000, then all BTC pairs are just going to get annihilated. So this is what I'm expecting for YFI. And this is the same type of chart for many alt BTC values as well. Kind of like how I checked for VIDT. It's going to be a V-shaped reversal for many of these alt BTC values. But yeah, let's see. RUNE, highly bullish on this one. Sorry, this is a really messy chart. Let's get rid of this. I wanted the 0.5 area. I did not get the 0.5 area. This is still really bullish, all-time high levels. I kept telling myself I was going to buy a bag of Thor. I never did. I'm sorry, Thorchain, RUNE, whatever. This is still really bullish. I don't really know what to say about this. I mean, if you want to look for targets, you just basically look for fib extensions. So just fib the top and the bottom parts of this range. And next up looks like 156. And then 174. Or I'm sorry, 170. And so on. So yeah, this is just the fib extension. I mean, this will give you somewhat close numbers in my opinion. Still bullish on this project though. This is really a nice one. I should just buy, honestly, and just sit on it. EGLD, Bitcoin, still bullish on the USD pair, but this BTC pair is pulling back hugely. This is an example of a rounded bottom reversal. This was more like kind of rounded here, as you can see. This is a little different than the V-shaped reversal because the recovery took a little more time to grind up. It wasn't like YFI where it basically just started mooning right out of the gate from its reversal. This is also another type of reversal pattern, and I made a video on reversal patterns, so check that out. But as of right now, this doesn't look very good for the BTC pair. The USD pair I think is still pretty bullish, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, this is going to hit 800 sats almost certainly. And since that area has been tapped multiple times, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this area tap next. The 662 Satoshi area. This was obviously a really bullish thing, but it is pulling back heavily, and what you could maybe look for is like something like this, like a cup and handle type of thing. But the handle's already getting a little It's already getting a little deep, and this might just make a full retrace depending on. I don't think it's going to go down to 400 or 500 satoshis, but if Bitcoin still goes strong, then it will, in my opinion. Let's go to BNB Bitcoin. This is at a very critical area, in my opinion. If this current area gets lost, then I think we see this, what is that, 9,000? 90K? I can't read. 90K area. And it's looking that way right now. It looks like really bearish right now. Many alt BTC values, again, are going to be bearish. This is my next area of interest if this current area fails. Nothing to really say about this. Binance was one of the most bullish assets in the bear market, and it's also one of the reasons why I want to buy a bag of FTT as well, just because I think that FTX is a good exchange, and I expect FTX to do pretty well going forward. But, you know, this looks pretty bearish in general. This is not bullish in the least. BNB looks, I mean, I always thought it kind of thrived as like a safe haven asset where it just was kind of more stable when the market sucked, as evidence of the 2018 run. But as of right now, it's just looking terrible, like many other altcoins. ADA, let's go to ADA USDT. This is still a nice looking chart, but it takes some time to get through the sell liquidity. How come we never... Okay, I'll go through LTC after this. I was about to say, this kind of looks like an LTC chart a little bit, but there's a lot of sellers in this 18-cent region, and it's going to take some time to grind through those sellers. It's not quite ready. This swing high around 19 cents or 20 cents was significant, and I think that, you know, there's still a lot of sellers in this area. You can see basically price grinding through it. With that said, I fully believe that this is going to break. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see this go really strongly after it breaks this 20-cent mark. And if you look at volume profile, I mean, there's just nothing but, there's no resistance above. It's just nothing but clear skies. There's going to be residual sell liquidity, you know, right here, and obviously at all-time high levels. But I do think that this is going to break in the USD pair, break higher to the all-time high USD pair level. The alt BTC pair of Cardano will unlikely get to its former glory again, in my opinion, just because there's so many new projects. But the USD pair should almost certainly reach new all-time highs in the USD pair. Personally, I'm still bullish on this, but I wouldn't take a leverage position personally because there still could be more chop involved. If you want to take a leverage position, I would wait for a break of 20, personally. But in my opinion, this was certainly going to break this area just because the market structure was way different now than this original move in March of 2020. But yeah, still looks bullish. Dogecoin looks good in the short term. This was a support level. I didn't trade this one. We're seeing some nice gains for sure. To be determined if it's going to be like this. run it had before. I mean, as you see, Dogecoin has these massive wicks. And, you know, it has these massive runs and quick pullbacks. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the same thing. But if it's going to be something like, maybe it'll be something more like August 2018, where this will be a multi-week pump. I don't know. But for now, I'm just kind of watching Dogecoin. I'll probably trade the USD pair coming up, but we'll see. VET, VChain. This one looks pretty bad for the BTC pair. The USD pair, I think, is really decent still. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see this come back to this area. 40 Satoshis might be good, but until that time, it's not. I don't know. This just looks bad on high time frames. All PTC pairs are going to look bad. Just hammer that into your head right now. All PTC pairs are going to look bad as long as Bitcoin is strong. That's all I can say about that. It's a good time to accumulate if you have a big stack, where you just buy some. But until that time, it's going to be bad. RSR, this one is good. I fibbed this out. I did not buy. This one has really nice FA, like a really ton of good hype around it. There's certainly going to be some sellers here in this area. So it's going to take some time to get through this sell zone. But I expect RSR, given the hype, to really break it eventually. But it could be pullback. It's going to take some time to chew through it, in my opinion. This timeline is going to be accelerated too. It won't take this long, but you could also see something like this, where it just hangs around and then it breaks up. But there's going to be a lot of sellers in this area. But the volume for RSR looks good. Sushi, I've long talked about waiting to just buy a break of 350. I know it's not the sexiest thing ever, but the reason is it's just that volume profile is pretty obvious in the sense that there's just that's better. There's just a lot of trading volume within this area. This 350 to 225 area. There's just a lot of trade volume here, and it's going to take a while to grind through that liquidity. It's similar to what I just talked about with the RSR. It just takes a while. And, you know, if you're buying and holding, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, you could have bought 225 and, like, had a fantastic gain. Like, you know, almost 50% gain. I always wanted to buy a uni bag, or a uni or sushi bag, but I never did. But for sushi, it looks bullish in the short term. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see this go a little lower and then go up. But I'm just waiting for sushi to break 350 and fill out this inefficient move. But still, could take a little more time, could break now. I'm not sure. If I start to see some higher lows, that'll be the trigger point to buy. Zilliqa, this was a bullish market structure, in my opinion, because this was a higher high, and this was a significant higher high. But as I said with other all PTC pairs, this is going to pull back huge because of Bitcoin. There are going to be some significant support levels coming up, in my opinion, but you'd have to go down to lower time frames to look for some levels for the fib. 230 is interesting. 200 is interesting. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see these two areas tapped. But all PTC values are going to suffer for the most part. Ocean, this one again is very hyped. I don't have a bag of this. Looks okay. It's not bullish yet, in my opinion. I think it probably found a bottom. I mean, this is very choppy price action though, but it's still bearish market structure. Like, you can still see lower highs being formed everywhere. And this might be one where it'll just accumulate for a little bit and then go. Kind of more of a rounded bottom. But I like the buy volume coming in. But I'm neutral in Ocean. Looks whatever to me. Band, I have a stack of Band. I will be buying more of it soon, I think. It looks like it's in accumulation mode. 200-day EMA, right at price, right into the equilibrium. This is doing nothing. This is just, I'm hoping accumulation, but this could break lower, of course, too. I don't know, but I'm just gonna keep buying Band personally. I think it's a good project. Uni, this one is similar to Sushi in the sense that I think that the FA on this is really good. And this is the breakout. It wouldn't surprise me to see a return to this level at 420 and then go up. There's going to be some sellers along this area, but not a ton. And you can look at volume profile too, like right there. Like this is where obvious resistance was, right? And this was obviously too where volume profile was stronger. Generally, these volume profiles act as magnets because this is where price likes to be traded at. And this is where the market finds fair value, so to speak. So it makes sense that these are usually highly liquid areas. And they can sometimes also act as SR levels as well. But once price breaks this $5 area, then this 530 area, then there's not much resistance. There's another resistance area around 650. But Uni should do pretty well in the coming weeks and months, in my opinion. I think DEXs are going to be a narrative in 2021, so it's not a bad idea to buy a bag of this. OGN BTC, this looks like absolute shit. I don't know what to say about this. This looks terrible. I mean, this looks the same way as all those other 2017, 2018 OG coins like ICX. It just looks bad. If you're looking for any sort of reversal, you're looking for a V-shaped reversal similar to, so if you have an underwater bag of this, and you're looking for V-shaped reversals basically, and it's possible you see a kind of a rounded bottom reversal like this, but I'm not so sure. My advice to you guys, if you guys have underwater bags that look like this, and I have some as well, don't, your favorite charter, influencer, whatever you want to call us, has these bags, they're lying if they say otherwise. If you have these types of bags, you're looking for this. You're looking for a V-shaped reversal. You're not looking to get back to all-time high. You're not looking to get back to break even. You're looking to probably just sell and take what you can get. This will probably reverse big and then come on back down. It's better just to take the loss at this point. Say you bought it at like, I don't know, say you bought it at here, 2,500 sats. Say you bought it because you thought this level here was going to be like support, and it was obviously not. It just kept falling through, and it just kept dropping. Take what you can get here. Don't look for all-time high levels, because all-time high levels are probably not going to happen. Your coin will probably go up 100%. Maybe it'll go up 200%. Maybe 300% like this. Take the loss. The opportunity cost, the just the value of your money just sitting in this coin, hoping for all-time highs and waiting for it to go to zero is not good. I cannot emphasize this enough. I have some old bags that I just sold, you know, on the last pumps, just because that's just the way you have to do it. You have to just take the L. You're not going to get your old money back. Just take what you can get. Take what the market gives you. That's my best advice for you. If you have OGN, a coin that basically went from 93% since August, that's just, you know, it's incredible. Yeah, so just make sure you sell on the when it has a V-shaped reversal. I probably wouldn't sell now because it's I mean, it'll bottom eventually, but that's just my opinion. Bella BTC. This looks really really bad. It's kind of crazy to think this was just launched in September and already massive destruction. Nothing to say about this. Again, all BTC pairs are just going to be gross. This doesn't look good. Anything you buy here is just a knife catch, because it's already breached the swing lows. So this will have a V-shaped reversal probably. I don't know where or when it'll happen, but unlike OGN though, this actually has a chance to go higher because it's a newer coin. So not saying it will, but there's less price history. ENJ, this looks bad. I mean, I should just skip all BTC pairs. They're all going to look the same. They're just terrible. This is just going to, I mean, this already lost high time frame support. The next area is this right here. Right, is the start of the inception in alt season. Yep, this doesn't look good. So this is my next area of interest, the 250 sats area to 360. DOT. This thing is insanely bullish. I kept waiting for lower, like the $7. It never came in the short term. It might still come. Here's my range, just range for weeks, or actually months, and now it's just going really, really well because this volume is just crazy good still, and yeah, a good strategy is just to buy any DOT pullback. In a super bull market too, when stuff is doing its run, and many altcoins will start doing a big run soon in my opinion, but this is the best you'll get. You'll get a bull flag, and then this will just keep going higher. Yeah, I'm still bullish on DOT. I think it's going to be very strong in 2021. I'm going to keep buying some DOT too. I just keep throwing some more and more money into DOT, and it's a little bit here, a little bit there. And yeah, I think it's going to be strong. Nano. Choppy price action. It's hard to read this chart, frankly. Resistance area, all here, and I think that's log. Resistance area. This is, once this breaks, it'll be strong, but for right now, it's just locked in this range. Yeah, not much to say about this. It's neutral. I wouldn't trade this personally. It looks very choppy. Good buy might be like 90 cents and lower, but yeah. RUNE is going to be, we already talked about RUNE, but I think RUNE is going to be very good in the coming months. The BTC pair is still in this accumulation zone though, so yeah, it's not really doing a whole lot. It just goes to show that even if a coin hits all-time high in USD, it can still look neutral to bad in BTC pairs. So that's a good reason why you should almost always have exposure to Bitcoin, in my opinion. just because you don't know when Bitcoin's going to do its massive run in general. So it looks like I'm out, but I wanted to add a few other. I'm going to go to Twitter here. And look at my chart request. Actually, you know what? It looks like Bitcoin is breaking out. So I'm actually going to call this video because I need to start trading. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and good luck. I hope you guys enjoyed this market review.